Hello everyone and greetings from Brno from my parents' kitchen. I was thinking while I'm here I should record some video. Today I will be making broccoli soup. I actually started to work on this recipe while I was in US. So this is just a good opportunity for me to try it here, which I did. So I continued working on this recipe while I was here with the local ingredients. So I'm excited to share, but before I start, I have a special guest. Some of you might have seen him. He is my parents' cat and he is very sweet, so let me just get Maximus. And here he is. This is Maximus and he is my parents' cat. He is 12 years old and he is really sweet and we love having him around. And I thought why not to share with all of you, and he is very curious and excited and playful cat. So this is Maximus. Maximus, say hi or wave at them, huh? Because you don't talk. Oh, he actually talks at like 6 a.m. when he wants to eat, but I will let him go now and let's continue with the recipe. For this broccoli soup, you will need 1.5 pounds broccoli. I worked on the recipe where you can actually use the whole broccoli, including the stems, because they are full of vitamins and it would be a pity to throw them away. So this is a great opportunity to use them all. So this is 1.5 pounds. Then we have 6 cups of water, 1/4 of a cup of oil. I'll be using olive oil. 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1/3 of a cup all-purpose flour, and normally in US I would be using what's called beef base, which you can buy. It's organic, it's in a jar, and it's like a beef bouillon but healthier version. So here in Czech Republic I was able to find this, which is like a beef base, beef bouillon. You will need 1/2 tablespoon, and this is actually the healthier version. Then we will need 1 teaspoon seasoning salt. Seasoning salt is very common in US, but if you are outside of US, not every nation would have seasoning salt. So while I'm here in the Czech Republic, I was thinking, what can I substitute? So I was able to find like spices. You have a mix of spices, and this is for what's called American potatoes. And it has actually 70% of salt and plus spices. So you will look for a spice mix that has at least 60-70% of salt, or if the salt is mentioned as a first ingredient, then you know that that's a majority of what's in it. So we will need 1 teaspoon of this. Then we will need 1.5 teaspoon of regular salt, a little bit of pepper, and then we will need 1/2 cup of whipping cream, which makes the soup very creamy and delicious. And top it off, we will need croutons, which I am not going to show you how to make them because I already made a video, so I will put a link in the description on YouTube and you can just click on it and make your own croutons. And for those I will need and I will use what's called rohlíky, bread rolls. And I have also a recipe how to make them if you would like to try. So let's start with this recipe. Let's first wash 1.5 pounds of broccoli, and I bought one and it wasn't enough, so I bought second one and then cut out the tops. So this makes 1.5 pounds. Because the stems take much longer time to cook and get softened, we have to cook them separate. So what I do, I like to already separate it now and cut the tops and then the stems. And also if you would cook it all together, the tops will be cooked super fast and they will also lose color. So that's why I'm doing it separated. And you would wanna also remove like these leaves and just discard it. So I'll look through what needs to be removed. Or like here I would cut a little bit, or the end I would cut. And just if it has ugly stem, a little bit, I would cut it slightly. And now you try to cut all the way on the top, because this would still be stem that needs to cook longer, because you just want the tops. And I set it aside in a separate bowl. And big piece like this I just cut in half, so it's easier to cook. So this is all the tops, so set it aside, we will need that later. And into a pot we will cut, now this is the stem that's left over, so we will cut it on smaller pieces. This way it will get actually softened, like pieces like this. I cut it in pretty thin slices and let's add it to the pot. Now we will add 6 cups of water. And 1 teaspoon of seasoning salt. And now we will need to cook it. Let's give it a stir. And now I will put the lid on, slightly cracked for the steam to escape. And let's turn on the stove to high. And you will wanna bring it to a boil. It starts to boil now, so let's lower it to gentle boil, and you will need to boil it for half an hour. So I will set up the timer for 30 minutes. But make sure that it has the gentle boil. While the stems are boiling, I am working on my croutons. And did you actually know that these holes in a pot or frying pans are great to just have your wooden spoon rest on it like that? That's pretty genius. After half an hour, let's try if the stems are soft. We'll just poke it with the fork. Yeah, it comes off easily and it seems soft, so this is ready. So I will turn off the stove, and now we need to pick out these stems. So I will put them on the top of the broccoli tops. We will need this broth, so I will set it aside and get another pot. Now we are going to make a roux, so I will turn on the stove. And let's put in a pot 1/4 of a cup of oil, together with 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I'll lower the heat, and now I'll be adding 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. And let's stir it while the butter is melting. You're trying to look for a smooth roux, no flour chunks, so this is looking good. And let's give it a little color. This looks good, it has a brownish color. We'll be adding this hot broth while stirring. Make sure to add everything, including the spices. And now stir it right away and mix it. I'll actually get a whisk. This way I will make sure that there are no flour chunks. It looks good. It's smooth. And now we will be adding our broccoli, so just be careful. This is pretty full. Let's stir it. Let's add more stuff. I'll also raise the heat some more. Let's add 1.5 teaspoons salt, some pepper, 1/2 tablespoon of beef base, so I will just cut this in half and put a part in. Let's stir it in, and I try to put the broccoli below the water. I will put the lid on and let's bring it to boil. So let's raise the heat. The soup is boiling now, so I will give it a stir and lower the flame. because this will take about 8 minutes for the tops to soften up. Doesn't take long. Put the lid back on and let's put it on a gentle boil, and I will set up the timer to 8 minutes. After about 3 minutes, I will give it a stir, just so the broccoli can mix in well. After 8 minutes, it should be done. So I will poke one, and it seems soft, so this is perfect. So let's turn it off. And now we will need to use a hand mixer to mix it all. Here I have a hand mixer, and let's mix it. And be careful because this is hot, so don't pull it out and have it splash on you. Or if you do, just turn it off. This looks good, like it's all smooth. I just look through it like that, and this is perfect. Let's turn on the stove again, because we'll be adding one more thing, and that's half a cup of whipping cream. And now all we need is just to bring it to boil. And that's it. The soup is done. So now it starts to boil. So let's just boil it for like half a minute. And I keep stirring it too. And this looks good. So let's turn it off. And now this is done. And let's enjoy this soup. So I am done, and the soup is nice and hot, the way Czechs like it. I like it too. So let's add some croutons, and let's try. It's very creamy, smooth. Delicious. I love broccoli, so broccoli soup is just amazing. It's has a nice flavors because it's mixed with the spices, and it's little crunchy because there are still little pieces of broccoli and also crispy crouton, which is amazing. What can I say? It's good. It's the whipping cream makes it nice and smooth and creamy. So I hope that you give it a try. And if you do, let me know, share some pictures, come and hang out with me on Facebook, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day and that you enjoyed this video from my hometown, Brno. I send you many greetings, guys. Bye. I should also say that I'm not only on Facebook, but I'm also on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, so make sure to follow me on there. And if you like the video, please subscribe or put thumbs up. That will make me really happy. I just grabbed Maximus, so we can both wish you a great rest of the day. Right, Maxico? Oh, he's hungry again. He eats a lot, so I need to feed him and feed myself. Bye.